Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bold, a RoomRaccoon series where we shine a light on very special independent hoteliers who rewrite the rules of hospitality. I'm your host, I'm Nadia. Today, I am joined by the dynamic pair behind Cape Town's Pineapple House and Petit Pineapple House, Lesley and Rupert Sykes. With 15 rooms across 2 boutique properties, they are proof that great hospitality is all in the details. After returning from the UK, the Sykes purchased a beautiful 1920s Victorian home in Sea Point, Cape Town, with no set plans. What started as a simple property investment turned into a bold, passionate project. And just 3 months after opening, the world shut down. But instead of hitting pause, they doubled down, blending bold aesthetics, smart tech, and purpose-led partnerships to create one of Cape Town's most standout stays. Welcome, Lesley and Rupert. So excited to have you on board. Pineapple House has become one of Cape Town's standout stays. For someone who hasn't visited yet, how would you describe the Pineapple House experience?
I think, Nadia, because we sort of came into the game with fresh ideas and just sort of Rupert and I have a very similar aesthetic. We both enjoy color and boldness, and we always love to stay in hotels that are not like our home. So created a space where every single room is different. We've utilized color as the magnet in each room. And it's actually, I think, been one of the secret power tools at Pineapple House because it allows people to have a different experience for returning guests. Often people see an image on Instagram and they'll phone and specifically say, please can I stay in that pink room, or could I have that room with the mustard color walls, or whatever the case may be. So I think we've already connected with our guests a lot of the time before they stay with us. The uniqueness as well lies in the sort of the boutiqueness of it, in the sense that I think post-COVID, everyone is looking, or most people in the world are looking for connection. And I think people now travel and look for connection. I know certainly when Rue and I travel, we love to meet people from other parts of the world. And that's one of the most special parts about having Pineapple House for us, is we love to engage with our guests. It's a very rewarding business. And I think engaging in connection with your guests in that small, intimate space, shocking some of them with the color, by the way, but I think that's essentially what we sort of our unique selling point.
Yeah, I totally can relate to this. My small boutique hotel only had 9 rooms, also 9 suites. They were also all individual, and you have guests who always want to stay in this one room, or definitely do not want to stay in the other. So that's really, really cool. So you both come from a completely different background, right? So Rupert, maybe you want to elaborate a little bit. You come from property management or from property real estate, and Leslie, you come from the jewelry world, which is also really cool. So you definitely have an eye for aesthetics. But yeah, how does this feel like to jump from that completely different background into running 2 boutique hotels?
I think what it is, there's something about hotels. And I think, every human being has an opportunity to stay in a hotel at some point in time, whether it's a 1-star hotel or a 5-star hotel or a boutique hotel, for instance. And I've always had a passion for bold interiors. Off the back of my property development background, I designed and put together a lot of properties. And there was an element of time where I studied interior design. So I always had, I think from a young age, my mum always said, you've always got an eye for detail. And I think that for me only came out later in life. I was working in a bank for a number of years, and there was a decision where I was sitting next to a guy. I was in the IT world, and he was reading the Computer Weekly, and I was reading a design magazine, and I thought, I've missed my calling. So I actually, my contract had come up to an end, and off the back of that, I started a property development business. And then when we got back to Cape Town in 2015, we had worked closely with an architect and put together number 10 Irvington Road together. And then the property next door indirectly came on the market, and so we purchased that. It was very extremely run down, but it was nothing that I hadn't done before. So we got the planning approval to turn it to a lovely 5-bedroom home. And then off the back of that, I looked at Lesley the one day and I said, I'm not particularly enjoying what I'm doing at the moment on the property development side of things. So I said, would you be keen on opening up a hotel? And I think her ears pricked up and she said, why not?
That's such an absolutely amazing story. I also rolled into this completely from I never worked in a hotel before, also just said like, yeah, how difficult can it be, right?
When you start up a hotel, believe it or not, it's more of an outlay than you think. And I think we had a budget in mind, but like all these things, we wanted to do it. We wanted to do it nicely, because I just felt that, if you're going to do it cheaply, you're not going to get the right type of person in here. But we also had a budget in mind. We had to be clever, but we've learned a lot of stuff over a very short period of time. And I do think we've got a lovely brand, and I think it's something that we can really grow into something really nice. Where the brand takes us, I'm not sure at this stage in time, but we're going to carry on working at it and improving where we can improve, and making sure that people that come to Cape Town enjoy the Pineapple House Boutique Hotel, and we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, I mean, you're quite in a competitive space there, right? Like in Sea Point, Cape Town. What do you do? Like, if you want to give a tip to other hoteliers, what do you do to remain relevant, or like to really have this brand that is outstanding?
I think the one thing we learned quickly is there's more than enough for everyone. I think you can never forget that. There's in the sort of the business element. There's always enough for everyone. So I think sort of taking too much notice of what your neighboring hotel is doing rather than actually building a relationship with them is counterproductive. I think each hotel has its own character, and I think by portraying that character honestly, because I mean, we've stayed in some hotels where you see the pictures online and you arrive and it's like, oh no, I think that's important. I think what you portray online must be what you offer your guest. It can't be, you can't have a guest walking in and feeling immediately let down, because it's an uphill battle from there. But I think that's what I would say. I think just try to infuse your personality into it. And don't be too worried about what your neighbor's doing. Rather concentrate on forming a positive collaborative relationship, because there's always going to be a day when they're fully booked and they've got some guests and the same, and you want to be able to lean on each other. Yeah. So that's, I think, the advice I would give is concentrate on your service delivery and by portraying a very honest image online.
Mm-hmm. And have you formed any partnerships with any other kind of type of businesses?
For me, in the partnership space, I think the social impact side has been a very strong necessity for us. I think being a family-owned business and having worked in the NGO space for a bit, I feel those are some of the most important partnerships. So we try to weave what we're doing in the hotel day-to-day with partnerships that we have. So, for example, all our bath mats are made by a single mom foundation. It was initially positioned in the Joe Slovo Township, and it was called the H18 Foundation. It's now run by a lady who still has the NGO ethos, and so they make all our bath mats for us. We need a bath mat, right? So why not support a local cause? And then Project Playground, which is a Swedish-run NGO in the Langa Township. If someone wants a late checkout, we ask, and we do have a room available, we ask for a minimum donation of 400 Rand, which goes directly to Project Playground. So it's a nice way of engaging people in some social impact work.
Okay, that's great. So I know that you are embracing tech quite a lot to have like this complete guest journey. So what do you think is like the most, or like what did impact you the most on the day-to-day journey? Like how do you embrace technology?
I think the way we originally built Pineapple House, a smart house in the sense that we look at energy saving and all those kind of good things that are absolutely necessary. But I think in the tech space, I think I think even our move to RoomRaccoon, slicker technology has just made our day-to-day job so much easier. Being able to provide the guest with that full solution, full package, to be able to pick, do you want a bottle of bubbles in your room when you arrive? Do you want to book your paragliding now? RoomRaccoon has made our day-to-day so much easier. And I think especially also from the sort of the functionality, the reporting and all that kind of thing, you have to have good procedures in place. So I think having good tech in place is so important.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
The hotel industry is such a busy industry. You're doing a lot of things, and guests can be quite demanding. And especially when you've got someone coming from a foreign country that knows nothing about South Africa, they want to have their hand held. But like I'll give an example at Pineapple House, where we have been quite good. We've got a lovely tours and transfers business called Pineapple House Tours and Transfers. So the thing is, I always recommend to those guests, it is an add-on service, but it's nice to arrive at the airport, be picked up by one of our lovely drivers, and then brought to Pineapple House Boutique Hotel. And the nice thing is that RoomRaccoon offers that. They offer that add-on facility. So when you go on and you check everything and you say, hey, would you like an extra bottle of champagne in your room or X, Y, and Z? You arrive in your hotel and it's all there.
I think it's great that you think about this guest journey, not only from when the guest arrives at your hotel or at the doorstep, but the journey starts way before, right? And it ends way after they leave. And I think that's important to consider. Okay, super. So you're selling apparel, right? Like you're also selling more than only hotel facilities.
Yeah, we started that sort of probably about 18 months ago. I actually took my first trip to India, and I went with a good friend of mine who knows India very well, and we started by just producing a pajama range, just to we sort of got into it quite slowly, Nadia, because we wanted to test the water and see what does a guest want. Are they going to be? Is it an appealing product for them? I mean, I suppose essentially you have to think it has to be something that someone can pop in their suitcase. It's a last-minute gift for someone, but it's also brand extension. So we created them with little pineapples sort of here, there, in the collar, and we have Pineapple House Boutique Hotel Cape Town. That's, I suppose, a tag that's sewn onto the pajamas. So you're thinking not only of providing them with something, of quality and something nice to remember Cape Town by, but it is also it's brand extension. So when they are perhaps planning their next trip, you are top of mind from a sort of brand perspective. So we've sort of slowly introduced other products, and now it's also actually become one of our social impact projects. But I think just giving people little keepsakes is not only a nice memory of one's journey, but it gives that additional brand extension.
It is an experience, right? It's and it shows your creativity, and I think that is what people really seek to remember. When you visit a foreign place, it's not only that you're going to remember Table Mountain or Lion Set or whatever. It's also what you're remembering, where you actually spend quite some time, right, in a hotel room.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what is next for a Pineapple House? Is there anything that you're planning, that you have up your sleeve?
Yeah, I think I can certainly mention we are in the process of renovating a property in Camps Bay. It will be a collaborative sort of extension of Pineapple House. It's going to be called the Lion and Tide, because it has beautiful views of Lion's Head, and obviously it's right or just off the Camps Bay strip, and that's going to be a 14 to 15 bed boutique hotel with the same look and feel as Pineapple House, with all its sort of independently created rooms, And yeah, we'll be probably all set to go with that. We're doing a sort of slow renovation, so we'll be all set to really explode onto the scene next season.
Oh, wow. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a very nice outlook, of course. Congratulations on that. And if you now, as having such an experience and being full on hoteliers by now, what do you think is like the future? Like, where's independent hospitality heading towards versus like bigger hotels and chains and, you know, property rentals and Airbnbs? But what is the independent hospitality doing? Like, where do you think it will go to?
It's an interesting space to be in at this moment in time, because people don't necessarily always want to come on holiday, book an Airbnb, have to go to the supermarket to, find the goods. They want to come on holiday and they want to be on holiday. They just want to relax. So arriving at your hotel, speaking to a lovely receptionist or the hotel manager, they show you to your lovely room. It's fresh, it smells nice. There's a lovely bottle of wine sitting on the counter. And so I think it's convenience, and I think that's what people like. But it's an exceptionally exciting space, and I do believe that if you are better than your competitor and you're very good at what you do, there's always a space in this market.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think what makes you guys so special is that you have such an eye for detail, and it's often the small things that people remember. In my hotel, I was really proud of serving coffee on a silver platter, like really like the old school kind of 30s vibe. And I really had like this old coffee thing that I somewhere got on eBay, and yeah, I just liked it, right? And my staff members, we were only a few, but we are all wearing black dresses and the guys wearing tuxedos. It's just a small thing. And I think people really liked it. So maybe let's wrap this up. I don't want to keep you too long from it anymore. Thank you so much anyhow, but I do have one last question. So from everything that has happened, what was like your boldest decision that you have made?
Oh,
boldest decision.
There's been so many.
So we initially started with 9 rooms. We used to live right next door to the hotel. We then made the bold decision to move out of our home and turn it into the hotel. So it was 9 rooms, and then it became 14 rooms. The nice thing about Pineapple House is you can also rent out the 9-bedroom villa, and you can also rent out the 5-bedroom villa. But if it's not rented out as a villa, it's 14 individual rooms.
I think that getting your head around other people now coming to your home space becoming a commercial space. But I think the big thing for me that I realized is that it's actually brought so much joy having people enjoy the space that we had created our children in. And it's I think we've loved, we've lost, we've cried, we've laughed, we've done it all in that home, and it was such an amazing space for us. And now to see guests enjoying it is so nice. So I think that was a very bold move for us. I think just taking it from 9 to 14 as well. It's just been commercially a game changer.
Yeah, I can imagine. It is a very bold decision, like to share your house that obviously has a soul by now, right? So, but yeah, now you're sharing it with others, and obviously very successful. So yeah. All right. I would like to thank you so much for your time and for sharing all of your experience and talking to me and getting to know you. I really enjoyed it. Thank you a million times.